Pat Nevin, it's a very cold, wet pair of commentators we are after that game this afternoon. Conditions not ideal, but what were we looking for today? We'll maybe look at Newcastle first. Under the new manager Steve Bruce, what were Newcastle United fans looking for this afternoon, and what did they see?
Well, first of all, they wanted to see an organisation. They got that for part of the game, the first part of the game. They want to see something off of the new players, particularly Joe Linton coming in. I don't think they've seen enough from him. I don't think there was enough cuteness about his game today. There wasn't, but it's early days yet, and he's getting to know, what his other players can do for him, but also they need to get to know his strengths, and I don't think they played to his strengths today. Almiron was great for about, the first half an hour, maybe even 45 minutes. Faded badly through tiredness. And the players that we were bringing on in the second half, they kind of flattered a little bit to deceive. Where Newcastle looks strongest is generally the back three. They look okay, they look strong there. Good goalkeeper, they can build a base from that. But as the game wore on and they made the changes, it looked disjointed. And that's not a phrase you usually use or did use when Rafa was here. And that'll be a slight concern, certainly for the manager Steve Bruce. And Steve Bruce will think about it and think, well, wait a minute, do I adapt it and play maybe 2 centre-halves instead of 3? I don't know if he can do that either, because is there enough pace in that back line? So he's got quite a lot of problems. The biggest concern maybe is there weren't enough chances created, and I don't know how much better his team can actually get with the players that he's got there. And he's playing against an Arsenal team who can get much, much better, and they still got beat. So it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a long, hard season. This isn't going to be the season, I don't think, where Newcastle will break into the top 8-9 teams. I think this is a season, if you stay up, you've done a good job again.
Yeah, because Rafa Benitez, as good as he was, and what he did with this club really was miraculous, considering the players that he had and the money that he was given while he was here. But Steve Bruce was actually asked in his pre-match press conference, are we going to see a more expansive Newcastle United, like less defensive maybe than Benitez was, because some fans maybe got a little bit frustrated with the defensive kind of football that Rafa Benitez played. Did you see any indication there that Steve Bruce might be able to get Newcastle playing a bit more attacking?
Rafa Benitez is a brilliant coach. He's a brilliant tactician. There's a reason why he played that way. If this Newcastle group plays much more open, they'll get picked off, and we saw it in the second half here. They tried to push forward a little bit more. The two wide players of what is a kind of 3 at the back, but the two wide of them going further forward just get picked off time and time again. And I said to you a couple of times during commentary, even in the first half, wait a minute, that shouldn't be happening. You're finding yourself overloaded far too easily. To be fair, Arsenal, without playing brilliantly and without creating many great chances, they could have scored 2 or 3, maybe even 4 more, had the final ball from the likes of Mkhitaryan been better. You can't keep on doing that. So I think you look at that and think, I'd be scared to go more positive. I'm scared to go see a 4 at the back, and bring another midfielder and another attacker in. If you do that in this division against the best teams, you can get really badly done. And it was quite brave in the second half and the changes they made. But did they make it better? No. They actually made it more disjointed.
And they will, I'm sure, get better as the season goes on. They spend more time in the training pitch together. Before we move on to Arsenal, just the other 2 new signings that we saw today for Newcastle United, there of course was a huge cheer when Alan Saint-Maximin came on, and he looked like he might have something about him even for the short time he played. And Jetro Willems as well looks like he might have a bit of attacking guile down the left side as well.
Well, pace, yeah, strength, yeah, tricks, yeah, all that sort of stuff, and a bit of danger about them. I'm always looking for something else at the top level. I'm looking for match awareness. I'm looking to understand how the game's developing and to make the right choices and the right passes at the right times. They didn't show enough of that in that game. But it's early days, and they only come on a sub. And I know what it's like. Your first game for a new club, and the expectation. You're running on a buzz. You're not really thinking straight. Give them a few weeks, see how it calms down. I'm not 100% convinced yet. The one player who does have that match awareness is Almiron, and he might be the one you have to look to if you're a Newcastle fan to bring that creation more than anyone else. Not writing any of those players off yet at all. It was interesting, but certainly both of them have got something to offer. Have they got enough to offer to take Newcastle to the upper echelons? No. In simple terms, no.
So Arsenal, we know they were a little bit dodgy at the back last season, didn't keep many clean sheets. They got a clean sheet their first game of the season today away from home. That's a huge boon for them, considering as well, as you mentioned before the game, that it's not going to be the first, that's not going to be Arsenal's defence as we see the season wear on.
No, it's not. A lot of players missing today. Kolasinac, we know, is not here. David Luiz sat on the bench with his feet up all the way through it. He'll be used a good deal today. You get Kieran Tierney, he's going to come into that defensive line as well. I mean, there's a lot of players that can bring it into that defensive line. And to be fair, I think, I questioned, Unai Emery at the start, thinking, there's a lot of kids on there. I mean, two particular youngsters up from 19-year-olds in midfield to front. I think, what are you thinking about there? Then I looked at the bench and thought, actually, you've got plenty there. You've got plenty to bring on when you need it. You know what you're doing. And he got it absolutely right. He would have made changes in defence had it looked shaky, but it didn't look shaky. I can't tell you now if that's because they were brilliant or because, Guendouzi and Xhaka in front did a good job in protecting them, or because Joe Linton wasn't being either A, asking him enough questions, or being able to ask him enough questions because he wasn't getting the service. So, you'd be happy. It's a clean sheet. It's away from home. It's 3 points. It's all that. Is that the sort of thing that you're going to see for Arsenal for the rest of the season? Absolutely no chance. I don't think you'll see that Arsenal 11 out again this season, unless it's in a League Cup game. But it was still enough to win the game, and that's a sign of a decent coach. The other thing, they was talking to some Arsenal representatives before the game. They said, look, there's a bunch of new players in. Some of them here in at the last minute. You've got to give them a little bit of a chance to get understanding what the manager wants specifically for this team. You can't kick out all the players that have stuck by you last season all in a one as well, because that leads to a bad feeling within the group. You need to integrate them slowly but surely. A couple of substitutes this week, a couple of starts next week, then 3 weeks into it, or 3 games into it, then you begin to see what his real thinking is. And I'll tell you, I think it's going to be very good thinking, and I think you're going to see a lot of decent stuff from this Arsenal team. I've got great expectations of them. I mean, I've said it before today's game. I wouldn't put money on because I don't bet, but I would say top 4 behind Spurs, just above Chelsea and Manchester United, I'd go for that, and I've not changed my mind after watching that.
Gunner supporters will be happy. A lot of Celtic supporters at home, Pat, think that Arsenal have got themselves a real bargain getting Kieran Tierney for 25 million. He's only 22. He's captained his country. He's won everything there is to win with Celtic. He's had a great career for such a young man, and he's got European football experience as well. What's your feeling on that? Do you think that Kieran Tierney can be a real success in the Premier League?
No, I don't think he can be. I know he can be. He's quality. He's a brilliant player.
There's some there are some football supporters who might only watch Premier League, don't watch Scottish football, and they're all thinking this guy plays in the pub league, he's no use. And
it was a few years ago, and I've often told this story in News Talk. I talked to a number of managers in the Premier League and said, I've got a player for you, just buy him now. It's costing you 11, 12, 13 million, but get him. And they all said, the odd look, and they all went, I don't know. And I'm saying, buy him. So, and they didn't. So Van Dijk goes to Southampton instead of going to Chelsea, where I thought he should go, or whatever, Man United. And I couldn't believe it. I'm saying, it's staring you in the face. It's so clearly. And if you played a bit and you know the game a bit, every Celtic fan knew fine well how good he was. Tierney's the same. And he's that quality. And I watched Robertson at Liverpool. He's a great player. He's fantastic. Who would I have between Robertson and Tierney? I'd have Tierney, without even waiting. And that's taking nothing away from Robertson. Robertson's brilliant. Tierney's a better all-round player. Tierney play left centre back, left of a 3, left back, right back. He play any of them, and he play any of them brilliantly. If he gets over the current injury, they tell me that's 4 or 5 weeks away yet. He's got a long and fabulous career. The biggest downside is really for the Celtic fans. They'll miss him massively. 25 million. When he goes next time, it's well over double that. So that's a shame, but there's nothing. That's not Celtic's fault.
Celtic do get a cut of the fee though as well.
That's the most important thing. And you got the arguments right there. Because Van Dijk sell on would have been massively important, and you want a big chunk of that sell on as well. And with Tierney, they can at least turn and say, look what happened with Van Dijk. So. Well done that. And Celtic, for them, they developed the player. He's come through, and that's kind of all profit in a way, and that will help them. And remember, to some degree, it's a left back. It's not a striker, it's a left back. So for Celtic, they can maybe reuse that money in other sort of places. But that's taken away for the fact that since maybe the likes of Danny McGrain, there's not been that many of that calibre that they've had, and Tierney can be that standard.
So just to finish, you are predicting a top 4 finish for Arsenal at the end of the season. We are at the home of Newcastle United here, St James's Park. So what's your gut feeling for Steve Bruce and for Newcastle United? Have they got a relegation battle on their hands, or has he got the quality of player there you think might just get them in around the mid-table?
I think if he gets around the mid-table, he has done an astonishing job. Because I think Rafa Benitez did an astonishing job the entire time he was here. I look at this Newcastle team and think, are you better than the Newcastle team I watched last season? No. Are you any worse? Don't really know that either. But they had an unbelievable coach. I thought Benitez, having watched him over the years, is a top standard coach. They'll miss that. The things that he could do, that he got the best out of those players. It's a tall order and a big ask for Steve Bruce to be able to do that. And I know Brucey and I like him a lot and I admire a lot he does, but it's still a tall order to follow that. If I had to really push it, I think they'll survive, but it might not be by much.
Thanks a million, Pat.
Pleasure.